Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something crucial: relationships, and the dangerous path society is walking toward loneliness and disconnection. Marriage, partnerships, and intimacy are not just luxuries, they are fundamental pillars of a meaningful life. Yet, in our modern pursuit of independence and convenience, we seem to have lost sight of something profoundly essential. When was the last time you truly listened to your partner? Not with the intent to respond or defend, but to understand. Listening is not passive. It's an active pursuit of knowledge about the person you've committed to. In our hyper-connected world, we're ironically more disconnected than ever. Social media, careers, distractions, they steal our attention from the people who matter most. It's no wonder we find ourselves in a society plagued by loneliness and sexless marriages. But here's the hard truth: relationships don't break down overnight. They erode piece by piece when we stop paying attention, when we prioritize everything else above the person who shares our life. Let me make this clear. Listening to your wife, your partner, is not about agreeing with everything they say. It's about validating their perspective, acknowledging their emotions, and recognizing that they too carry the weight of this partnership. When you listen, you open the door to empathy, and empathy is the foundation of connection. Without it, passion fades, trust crumbles, and the bond you once cherished turns into a transactional arrangement. Now, you might say, well, relationships are hard. Of course they are. Anything worthwhile demands effort. But ask yourself, are you willing to put in the work, or are you content to let it fall apart piece by painful piece? The consequences of neglect are not just personal, they're societal. We're building a generation that doesn't know how to communicate, how to love, or how to sustain intimacy. And we wonder why depression, anxiety, and isolation are on the rise. So what can you do? Start by listening, not just hearing, but truly listening. Ask questions, show up, be present, commit to understanding your partner's world as deeply as you understand your own. Prioritize time together, not as roommates coexisting, but as lovers and partners creating a shared life. Rediscover the joy of small gestures, holding hands, meaningful conversations, and yes, physical intimacy. Because at the end of the day, a strong relationship isn't built on grand gestures, but on the quiet, consistent acts of love and care. Let's not build a society where loneliness and disconnect are the norm. Instead, let's start at home with our partners and rebuild the foundation of connection, one conversation at a time. Communication forms the bedrock of any meaningful relationship. It is through communication that we express our emotions, share our thoughts, and connect with others on a deeper level. Without it, relationships flounder, misunderstandings fester, and distance grows. Yet, in an age where distractions abound and time feels scarce, many of us fail to truly communicate with those closest to us, especially with our partners. When we think about communication, we often focus on speaking, how well we articulate our ideas, how effectively we convey our needs, or how persuasive we can be in making a point. However, the true essence of communication lies in listening. Listening is not simply about hearing words, but about engaging with the emotions, intentions, and meanings behind them. It requires patience, effort, and, most importantly, an open heart. In the context of a marital or long-term partnership, the importance of listening cannot be overstated. Partners share a life together, often facing challenges, responsibilities, and decisions as a unit. It's easy to fall into the habit of assuming we know what the other person thinks or needs. But people evolve, circumstances change, and life throws unexpected events our way. Without intentional and regular communication, partners can drift apart, no longer understanding each other in the way they once did. Listening to your partner is an act of love and respect. It signals that you value their thoughts and feelings, that you see them as an equal participant in the relationship. When one partner consistently feels unheard or dismissed, resentment begins to build. This resentment may not be vocalized immediately, but it slowly erodes the foundation of trust and connection. Over time, the gap between two people grows until it feels insurmountable. Consider this: how often do we approach conversations with a desire to truly understand rather than to respond or defend? Too often, we listen with the intent of proving a point, winning an argument, or preparing our next statement. This approach transforms conversations into battles rather than opportunities for connection. When partners feel that their words are met with defensiveness or disinterest, they begin to retreat emotionally. They may stop sharing their true feelings, choosing instead to avoid confrontation or disappointment. This silence can be far more damaging than any argument. To foster better communication, it is essential to cultivate the skill of active listening. Active listening involves not only hearing what your partner says, but also reflecting on their words, asking questions to clarify their perspective, and showing empathy for their experiences. For example, when your partner shares a concern, instead of immediately offering solutions or minimizing their feelings, you could respond with, "I can see how that's been really difficult for you. Tell me more about what's been going on." Such a response invites openness and reassures your partner that their emotions matter to you. Another important aspect of communication is creating a safe space for vulnerability. Many people hesitate to express their true feelings out of fear of judgment or rejection. As a partner, your role is to ensure that your significant other feels comfortable sharing even the most difficult emotions with you. This doesn't mean agreeing with everything they say, but it does mean responding with kindness, curiosity, and compassion. A relationship thrives when both partners feel secure enough to be authentic. It's also important to recognize that communication is not just verbal. Nonverbal cues such as eye contact, body language, and tone of voice play a significant role in how messages are conveyed and received. For instance, a dismissive tone or lack of attention, such as checking your phone during a serious conversation, can undermine even the most well-intentioned. On the other hand, maintaining eye contact, nodding to show understanding, and leaning in to signal attentiveness can enhance the connection between you and your partner. Effective communication in relationships requires consistency. It's not enough to have meaningful conversations only when conflicts arise or during special occasions. Daily check-ins, even if brief, can make a significant difference. Asking simple questions like, "How was your day?" or "What's been on your mind lately?" demonstrates that you care about your partner's inner world. These small efforts accumulate over time, strengthening the bond between you and building a reservoir of goodwill that can help navigate future challenges. In today's fast-paced world, where external demands often take precedence, it's easy to neglect communication in relationships. However, neglecting this vital aspect comes at a high cost. Poor communication leads to misunderstandings, unmet expectations, and emotional distance, all of which can strain even the strongest partnerships. By prioritizing communication and making a conscious effort to listen, you not only deepen your connection with your partner, but also create a relationship built on mutual respect, trust, and love. This foundation is essential for navigating life's inevitable ups and downs together. Relationships are not static. They require continuous nurturing, and at the heart of this nurturing lies the simple yet profound act of listening. In the end, the importance of communication in relationships cannot be overstated. It is through communication that we bridge gaps, resolve conflicts, and reaffirm our commitment to one another. By truly listening to our partners, we honor their humanity and strengthen the bonds that make life meaningful. The modern world is in the midst of a profound crisis of isolation, a quiet epidemic that has slowly infiltrated our lives. Despite advances in technology, communication, and connectivity, we are lonelier than ever before. This crisis is not just a personal issue, it is a societal one, with wide-ranging consequences for individuals, families, and communities. To truly understand the depth of this problem, we must examine its roots, its impact, and what it reveals about the way we live today. At its core, The modern crisis of isolation stems from the way society has evolved. Over the past century, there has been a shift toward hyper-individualism, where the emphasis is placed on personal achievement, independence, and self-reliance. While these values have their merits, they have also come at a cost. The emphasis on doing it all on your own has led to a decline in collective thinking, where communal support and shared responsibilities are often seen as secondary to personal goals. This has created an environment where people feel disconnected from one another, even within their own families. Compounding this issue is the rise of digital technology, which has transformed how we interact with the world. Social media, texting, and other forms of online communication have made it easier than ever to stay in touch with others, yet these tools often provide only the illusion of connection. Scrolling through a social media feed or liking a post may offer momentary satisfaction, but it rarely fulfills the deeper human need for genuine interaction. In fact, research has shown that excessive use of social media can actually increase feelings of loneliness as people compare their lives to curated images and narratives, leaving them feeling inadequate or left out. This crisis of isolation is not limited to single individuals or those who live alone. It has also infiltrated romantic relationships and family dynamics. Many couples find themselves living parallel lives under the same roof with minimal, meaningful interaction. Work pressures, household responsibilities, and endless distractions create an environment where partners may coexist without truly connecting. Over time, this lack of connection can lead to emotional distance, resentment, and the erosion of intimacy. The societal impact of this crisis is significant. Loneliness has been linked to a host of negative outcomes, including mental health issues such as depression and anxiety. It also affects physical health, with studies indicating that chronic loneliness can increase the risk of heart disease, stroke, and even early mortality. In fact, some researchers suggest that the health risks associated with loneliness are comparable to those of smoking or obesity. But what makes this crisis particularly alarming is how insidious it is. Loneliness is often invisible. It does not announce itself loudly or draw attention in the same way other societal issues do. People suffering from isolation may appear to lead normal lives on the surface, attending work, maintaining social media profiles, and engaging in casual interactions. Yet beneath this facade lies a profound sense of disconnection, a feeling of being unseen and unheard. The crisis of isolation also raises deeper questions about the structure of modern society. Have we designed a world that prioritizes productivity over people? Have we placed so much value on independence that we have forgotten the importance of interdependence? These are difficult but necessary questions to ask if we are to address the root causes of loneliness. While the crisis is complex, it is not insurmountable. The first step in addressing isolation is recognizing its existence and its impact. We must be willing to confront the uncomfortable truth that many of the systems and habits we have embraced contribute to the problem. On an individual level, small changes can make a big difference. Prioritizing face-to-face interactions over digital ones, making time for meaningful conversations, and actively listening to others are simple yet powerful ways to combat loneliness. Rebuilding connections with family, friends, and community requires effort, but the rewards are immense. On a societal level, fostering a culture that values connection is essential. This means creating spaces where people can come together, whether through community events, support groups, or shared activities. It also involves addressing structural issues such as work-life balance that often leave people with little time or energy for relationships. The modern crisis of isolation is a wake-up call. It reminds us that as humans, we are inherently social beings wired for connection. No amount of technological advancement or personal achievement can replace the need for meaningful relationships. By acknowledging and addressing this crisis, we have the opportunity to build a society that not only values individual success, but also cherishes the bonds that make life rich and fulfilling. Marriage is a delicate interplay of responsibility and desire, two forces that must coexist harmoniously to sustain a meaningful and fulfilling relationship. Responsibility in a marriage often encompasses the practical aspects of life: financial stability, raising children, maintaining a home, and planning for the future. Desire, on the other hand, speaks to the emotional and physical connection between partners, the spark that fuels intimacy and passion. While both elements are crucial, the challenge lies in balancing them, as an overemphasis on one at the expense of the other can strain the relationship. Is the foundation upon which a partnership is built. It involves honoring commitments, providing support, and ensuring that the shared life you create is secure and sustainable. Without a sense of responsibility, a marriage can quickly become chaotic and unstable. However, in the pursuit of meeting responsibilities, many couples inadvertently fall into routines that prioritize efficiency and productivity over emotional connection. Days become filled with tasks, schedules, and obligations, leaving little room for moments of intimacy or spontaneity. Desire, in contrast, thrives in an environment of curiosity, excitement, and emotional presence. It is nurtured by the moments that make a relationship feel special. Thoughtful gestures, shared laughter, physical closeness, and the feeling of being truly seen and valued by your partner. While responsibility focuses on the practical, desire is rooted in the emotional and sensual aspects of a relationship. Neglecting this side can lead to a partnership that feels more like a business arrangement than a loving union. The interplay between responsibility and desire is further complicated by societal expectations and cultural narratives. Many people enter marriage with a set of ideals about what it should look like, often shaped by media, family, or personal experiences. These expectations can create pressure to fulfill roles or achieve milestones such as buying a house, having children, or advancing in careers. While these are important goals, they can overshadow the personal connection between partners if not managed thoughtfully. One of the most common issues couples face is allowing responsibility to overshadow desire. As life becomes busier with careers, children, and other commitments, the romantic aspects of the relationship can take a backseat. Date nights become infrequent, meaningful conversations are replaced by logistical planning, and physical intimacy may dwindle. Over time, this dynamic can lead to feelings of neglect or resentment, as one or both partners may feel unappreciated or emotionally disconnected. On the other hand, an exclusive focus on desire without acknowledging responsibility can also create problems. A relationship that prioritizes passion without structure can feel unstable and unreliable, leaving partners uncertain about their future or ability to depend on one another. True intimacy requires a balance of both emotional connection and practical reliability, as the absence of either can erode trust and security. To maintain this balance, couples must approach their relationship with intention and effort. First, it is essential to recognize that both responsibility and desire require active nurturing. They do not thrive on autopilot. For responsibility, this means maintaining open communication about goals, expectations, and shared duties, ensuring that both partners feel supported and valued in their roles. For desire, it means carving out time for intimacy, celebrating each other, and keeping the relationship fresh and exciting. One practical way to achieve this balance is through intentional scheduling. While it may feel unromantic to schedule time for connection, it is often necessary in today's fast-pacing world. Setting aside regular time for date nights, intimate moments, or simply uninterrupted conversations can help ensure that the relationship remains a priority amidst the demands of daily life. These moments of connection do not have to be elaborate. Even small gestures such as cooking together, sharing a hobby, or taking a walk can foster closeness. Another important aspect of balancing responsibility and desire is cultivating mutual appreciation. In the hustle of daily life, it is easy to take your partner for granted, focusing on what they have not done rather than acknowledging their contributions. Expressing gratitude for your partner's efforts, whether in managing responsibilities or in nurturing the emotional connection, reinforces the sense that you are a team working together. Now, it is also crucial to address the barriers that can inhibit desire, such as stress, fatigue, or unresolved conflicts. When life feels overwhelming, it is natural for passion to wane. Rather than ignoring these challenges, couples should work together to address them, whether through stress management, seeking external support, or resolving underlying tensions. By addressing these issues head-on, couples can create an environment where desire has room to flourish. Finally, maintaining curiosity about your partner is vital. Over time, it is easy to assume that you know everything about the person you are with. However, people are constantly evolving, shaped by new experiences, challenges, and insights. Taking the time to ask questions, show interest in their thoughts and feelings, and discover what excites or inspires them can reignite the sense of wonder that first brought you together. Balancing responsibility and desire in marriage is not always easy, but it is deeply rewarding. By giving equal attention to both the practical and emotional dimensions of the relationship, couples can create a partnership that is not only stable and reliable, but also vibrant and fulfilling. This balance is the key to building a relationship that stands the test of time, offering both security and joy in equal measure. Empathy and validation are cornerstones of meaningful and enduring relationships. They provide the foundation for emotional intimacy, mutual respect, and understanding between partners. Without these essential elements, relationships can become shallow, transactional, or strained, leaving individuals feeling isolated even within their most significant connections. Empathy and validation are not only critical for resolving conflicts, but also for fostering a deep sense of belonging and partnership. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. It goes beyond mere sympathy, which is feeling sorry for someone. Empathy involves stepping into another person's shoes and experiencing their emotions from their perspective. In the context of a relationship, empathy means actively seeking to understand your partner's inner world, their joys, fears, struggles, and dreams. It is about recognizing that their feelings, even if different from your own, are valid and worthy of consideration. Validation, closely tied to empathy, is the act of affirming your partner's emotions and experiences. It involves acknowledging their feelings without judgment or dismissal, creating a space where they feel safe to express themselves. Validation does not require agreement. It is possible to validate your partner's emotions while holding a different perspective on a situation. The key is to show that their feelings matter to you and that you respect their right to feel the way they do. The absence of empathy and validation in a relationship can lead to significant emotional distance. When a partner feels unheard or dismissed, it creates a sense of isolation, as though their emotions are unimportant or misunderstood. Over time, this can erode trust and intimacy, as the dismissed partner may hesitate to share their thoughts and feelings, fearing further rejection. This cycle often leads to frustration, resentment, and a weakening of the relationship's emotional bond. In contrast, practicing empathy and validation strengthens relationships by fostering connection and understanding. When one partner actively listens and validates the other's feelings, it builds a sense of emotional safety. This safety is essential for vulnerability, which is the cornerstone of deep, meaningful relationships. Vulnerability allows individuals to share their innermost thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment, creating a level of intimacy that goes beyond surface-level interactions. One of the most common barriers to empathy and validation is the tendency to focus on solutions rather than emotions. When faced with a partner's concerns or struggles, it is natural to want to fix the problem or offer advice. However, this approach can sometimes feel dismissive, as it shifts the focus away from the partner's emotional experience. For example, if your partner expresses stress about a work situation, responding with, "You should just quit," or "It's not that big of a deal," may come across as minimizing their feelings. Instead, a response like, "That sounds really stressful. How are you holding up?" acknowledges their emotions and invites further dialogue. Another obstacle is defensiveness. In moments of conflict, it can be challenging to empathize with your partner when you feel attacked or misunderstood. However, defensiveness often escalates conflicts rather than resolving them. Practicing empathy in these moments requires stepping back and trying to understand your partner's perspective, even if it differs from your own. For instance, instead of responding with, "That's not true," you might say, "I didn't realize you felt that way. Can you tell me more about it?" This approach opens the door to understanding rather than shutting it down. Empathy and validation are not innate traits, but skills that can be cultivated with practice. One way to develop these skills is by improving active listening. Active listening involves giving your full attention to your partner without distractions and focusing on what they are saying rather than formulating your response. Techniques such as paraphrasing their words, asking clarifying questions, and using affirming body language, nodding, maintaining eye contact, can demonstrate that you are fully engaged in the conversation. It is also helpful to pay attention to nonverbal cues. Often your partner's tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language can reveal more about their emotions than their words alone. Responding to these cues with empathy, such as saying, "You seem upset," or "I can tell this is really bothering you," shows that you are attuned to their feelings and care about their well-being. Another important aspect of validation is normalizing emotions. This means helping your partner see that their feelings are a natural response to their experiences, rather than something to be ashamed of or dismissed. For example, if your partner is feeling overwhelmed, you might say, "It makes sense that you're feeling this way, given everything that's going on. Anyone would feel stressed in your position." This type of validation helps your partner feel understood and supported.